When the recording starts, there are two things that happen. One, the hue itself begins to move through you, through your ceiling where you're living. This is done by very advanced beings. And it moves through your physical body. And there's always a couple from the Galactic Alliance, real people, very masterful, technically extremely aware, but also considered master teachers in their own right. These are Galactic Alliance personnel, actually. So life outside of Earth, as you all know, has not purposely been disclosed to people on this planet, even though it was known many decades ago. They were coming here and made contact with certain privileged elite political people, and then they classified it and created two space programs, public one, NASA, and a private one, classified that was never disclosed to the public. So, as far as space travel is concerned, when they said that we never went back to the moon, they were lying to everyone. They did. And with restrictions, because we don't own the universe. They have a base on the backside of the moon. That's a controversial political thing. Because really all that's happening is people on Earth, after 70, 60 years, are just taking explosive fuel rocket ships back to the moon. Well, whip-de-doo. What a no big brainer deal that is. So what? That's what the public's shown. Disclosure is underway because of the influence of beings not from Earth. Because they're bringing it about whether people want it politically on Earth anyway. And they know that. So that's starting to happen through the Pentagon. It's public. You can watch it. You can watch cabinet meetings, discussing what they're doing, how they're fixing, ending wars, and all that stuff. The thing that's most fascinating and interesting to me is not how the world is changing financially and politically, but how wars are being brought to an end. There's one more to go, Ukraine. That'll be brought to an end too. This has to happen because space is already occupied in our people. Russian or Chinese or American will not be allowed to play among the stars the way we are. We just won't. We're not going to have struggles with China and Russia over who's going to rip off the spoils of other people's properties on other planets, because we don't possess them. And they already know it's already occupied. So that's really not the purpose of having a planet transformed enough to have people go to other worlds. And exchange programs, kids growing up this way, would change the world dramatically. But people on Earth have to be prepared for this in many ways. And it can't be done from any numbers of people on Earth waking enough to change the direction, because there's not nearly enough to change it before the world would go up in smoke. So these journeys have always been designed to be direct experience based. This just means that you go on the journey. It's not your body that goes on it. That cannot go where we're going. Not even for Lemriel, who doesn't have a physical body anyway. In fact, he doesn't even have astral, causal, or mental, or etheric body. More advanced beings don't need that. They just manifest a body in every plane, carry out a mission, they're done. Silent mentors don't have any lower bodies in the lower worlds. And yet they manifest anywhere in the lower worlds, wherever they want, and carry out something. But that's a whole nother story. We get into this with silent mentors on these journeys. The one place where we can rub shoulders with them is in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, and that is above Satnam's realm. It is not in the void, it's not in the lower worlds. They're just too far advanced from anything you can imagine here. But we can rub shoulders with them in one location. That was newly designed recently, and it works there. One of the things silent mentors have done is stop the polar flips of planet Earth permanently. It was never done before. It was never done on any other world. As far as I know, there aren't any other worlds that flip their poles every 100,000 years like this place did. Wipes out any civilization completely. And it has to be recolonized, let's put it. Mammal, animal life, and sea life has to be brought back here. It's done many times on this planet. There's a history missing from people that no one on Earth knows consciously. It goes back 665.5 million years to the end of the Cretaceous period. The dinosaurs were made extinct. There's been cyclic civilizations on this planet for that length of time. Lemuria was just the last one, 100,000 years ago. We would have already had another one if the poles had not been stopped. The only beings capable of doing that. Maybe the Galactic Alliance technically could do it, but I think this is more in the realm of the silent mentors themselves, who run the mechanics of creation. All of it. The doorways between dimensions, the parallel dimensions in each plane, the void, the barrier between the upper and lower worlds. They run that whole thing. They don't have time to interrelate with individual atmas like us to teach us, like a master teacher would. That's not their bailiwick. They don't have time for that. So we go to a place where we can rub shoulders with them, and that changes us. We have master teachers on one side and silent mentors on the other, and we're in the middle. I couldn't think of a better situation to be in, to be honest with you. Getting the higher faculties of the Atma turned on again and working, which, as you know, is this. That's what you look like. That's what you really are and always have been. Spherical. It has layers. The spectrum of light's filled throughout it. Has a white core made of an energy like a drop out of an ocean from the source itself. So we are source energy. Can't be anything else, never have been. No implant or aberration or negative nature exists in any one of you in this. It's in the field of energy that surrounds it. The electromagnetic field, because that's physical plane stuff. So when you look at Earth, or planet Earth, it has a electromagnetic field coming out of the South Pole, going in the north, and it's made of the hue, but it allows this planet to be stable in this omnipresent, single conscious living energy we call the hue, or in this case, the hue expansion ray. So this is the first book on this planet. Not even in the Katsuperi Monastery or anywhere else will you find this image. This image is important because if you begin to wake this up in people, that's the whole ball of wax. If you just tell them they got an astral body and they go flying around their astral plane, it doesn't help them one damn bit. Not at all. This is where change comes. These faculties and all the teardrops of these layers are higher faculties of co-creative ability with Source. We've always had them. Many of them are dormant or turned off or simply ignored, or most of them are not used because of fear. Artificially created, subconsciously created, implanted fear. Goes back in galactic history, long before your life on this world. Actually goes back 500,000 years in our galaxy. The misuse of advanced waveform technology to imprison and trap people. Capture the Atma. You can put a field around it, a heavy electromagnetic field, and compel it to incarnate in a body on Earth with no memory of its former self. But it does not and cannot, no technology in the physical universe can penetrate this or affect this directly. The Atma has no negative nature. It's not made of matter, it's not made of atoms, it's not nuclear, it's not atomic, it's not DNA. It is the hue source energy itself. This will never change. If we were to take this and drop it into the whole ocean of this core energy, you would become the hue expansion ray itself, an omnipresent force, but you would cease to be an individual at that point. So there's no point. That's not our purpose. The source itself is not an individual on a throne. You can speak with it, you can talk with it, you can meet with it, but it's not an individual. And the sooner we know that, the better off we are in going to be with it than to worship it and put it on a pedestal. Because that just keeps it receding away from us forever. We're really from that source, so why put it on a pedestal? Remember, when we go there, we don't take ego with us, so you don't even have to worry about ego trips or any of that stuff. That stays asleep, turned off with the sleeping body on Earth when we go as an Atma on these journeys. So that's something that's done for you. Around each of you are, you know about Shantial and Tonal Tial, Dantian and Lamtian. They're just two couples, those names I've revealed to people on Earth. There are many other. that work with individuals when they're out of their body at night. A lot of work is going on that way to get people more receptive to cross paths with the hue or the hue expansion ray. Because the way it's moving through creation now from the upper worlds, it only moves one way. It doesn't go backwards and forwards like positive and negative, yin and yang, up and down, backwards and forwards. It doesn't do that. It's source energy. It's neutral. You imagine negative stuff, it'll manifest it for you. You imagine positive stuff, it manifests that too. And whatever balance there is between the two. This is what we call karma. This is how people get stuck and unaware. Over billions of lives on many planes, they end up losing their ability to utilize these faculties. They're not destroyed, they're not damaged. None of them. This is not made of, it is energy, but it's not made of nuclear atomic energy. It's the energy behind and supporting all that. Well, that's what we are. We start from that perspective because without that, you don't make any gain. No progress at all. And nobody on Earth has been doing that for, I don't know how long. The Galactic Alliance wasn't even aware of that. Many of them knew what they looked like as a sphere, but they really weren't going back above the void. They are now. So the Galactic Alliance Council's going with us. First place we're stopping off together is on Zetronomy 1. That is a very large planet surrounded by many beautiful suns, much more compacted near the galactic core of the galaxy, not in it. Very far away from Earth in a different spiral arm of the galaxy altogether. So it sits there surrounded by 3 moons the size of Earth, no polar ice caps. You guys know that. You've been there before, I think. All of you have been there at least once. We're going there simply to join, or Tyrellian is the central focal point of these journeys, to have them come along in a group in concentric circles around us like a great big galaxy. And then there's a white golden oval light that Tyrellian produces, surrounds us like a spaceship to keep us all focused and centered on the journey. It's too easy to get distracted and sidetracked. The astral, causal, all these other planes. We don't want to do that. On our return, we'll be coming back down through the etheric, mental, causal, astral, and physical worlds. And on our return, we're going to stop in a place that some people call Agam Purusha. Others call it Shambala or Shangri-la. But it is not in the Himalayas on Earth as people think. They know it's in another dimension, but you can't find it in the Himalayas. You have to actually go to the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe, where a different Earth exists, in the mountains like the Himalayas, that are across the center of a vast continent on one Earth with no polar ice caps, because that's where it's located. People, master teachers like Ramu come from there. They can come from there right to Earth and walk down the street in a suit and you'd never know it. And we're going to be going there to be sitting in the middle of a bunch of special monks on our return. That'll be our last stop, because that represents the physical universe. And the point of this is to bring back some energy and consciousness of what we do in the high realities above the void to our life on Earth, to enlighten, to transform, to begin to change the physical body we have. You know, not to make it perfect or necessarily immortalize it, because it's not the body that's immortal, it's the Atma. The body is a machine. It's a biological entity. It runs on 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's a DNA twin-stranded. The problem with it is some of the genomes on that billion-plus genomes that were mapped out with supercomputers that are on the twin-stranded DNA of a human has a telomere on each end. The telomere shrinks when cells divide in people on Earth. This is not true for humans and other worlds. They've mastered this genetic science. The telomeres do not shrink. They do not age. You could get run over by a giant reptilian or squashed by a meteor and be killed, but the bodies don't age. So people choose how long they want to be in them. They leave them when they're ready. Some people live tens of thousands of years in a body out in our galaxy alone. People on Earth have no idea this is taking place around them. But they are going to know. Because this is being orchestrated from change that took place in the upper worlds where we're going. It was not created down here. It cannot be created here to change the physical universe from the physical universe. It's impossible. It has to be created from energy that's above any conflict of interest and tested. And that's done by Satnam. Then it's implemented here. Taken many billions of years to come to the point where Earth's poles have stopped and things are changing. The implants the subconscious minds people suffer from on Earth are not indicative or any kind of indication of how life is lived on human worlds outside of this planet, because they are vastly different than us. Of course, what I'm sharing this with you for is to help you understand you were once them, before this life. Scientists, advanced beings, running bodies for thousands of years. This was in your history, not in your future. You're going to hear this for the first time from me and from the beings I work with, because this is the beginning of disclosure. In the background, behind the scenes, this is what's taking place. When we start this off with a hue, what we're doing, all of us together, I'm going to be sending out the hue 5 times on successively higher tone levels. And then, in the silence of your own space as a being, hovering above your body, which is the real source of all imagination, you just match the tone. You don't have to be a good singer on earth or use your vocal cords or anything like that. When we do the hue out loud here, it mimics the real sound, vibrates in harmony with it. Actually, what it's doing is opening a particular channel in the pineal gland in the center of your brain. It was set up that way in the beginning, so that when it does this, you have more conscious access to the beings who are surrounding you now. A male and a female, Galactic Alliance personnel, who volunteer to do this for you as part of their presence in our solar system. Don't misunderstand me. They are very much here. The Emerald Star Cruiser, on the front of the Sarah's Agenda book, actually looks like this. And it's a mile long. And it's stationed in the ice rings of Saturn. It is in a higher frequency, molecular time rate, so that any from government from Earth couldn't detect it or even see it unless they wanted them to. It's sitting there protected by an anti-gravitic field. The ice chunks that are made of ice, all the rings of Saturn are a mile and a half thick. They're made of frozen water. How does frozen water a mile and a half thick surround a gas giant planet? Ooh, that's a big one for scientists on Earth today, because they don't even know how the asteroid belt got there. This failed planet is some kind of theoretical nonsense. It was a planet, and it was blown up. It's not stuff people want to look at in their own history. Some blow up a planet, 2 billion people on it. Meteor hits Mars, ruins its atmosphere. Another one hits Earth. You got a polar flip problem, an imbalance in the solar system. And as this stretches out, these planets go around the sun. I'll just give a figure, 55,000 miles an hour. If that's blown apart, you have major forces, centrifugal and centripetal, pulling on it. As it circles, it wants to pull away from the sun. The sun holds it to it. These forces counterbalance each other. And underneath it all, between all the planets, is the hue itself. That black area of space isn't black at all. The most advanced nuclear physicists, quantum physicists, and some of the people in the classified communities know the Big Bang Theory is no longer going to be applied, because they've seen far enough into the universe to now that it didn't happen that way. There was no Big Bang. That's already current scientific thinking on this planet. That's a step forward. The next one is to get rid of this limited idea, brainwashing, that there's this limit to the speed of light. There isn't. If you measure light from physical eyes way back in Einstein's time, in the physical atmosphere of this planet, you're going to be greatly disillusioned and misdirected about what light is. Because 286,000 miles a second is a limit put on things by people on Earth in their ignorance. No such limit exists. The light from other galaxies does not take billions of years to get to us. It's the hue expansion ray itself and it's continuously connected. It has no limits in physics or the laws of physics. It is the energy that supports laws of physics. This is what is known by more advanced races from the stars. They understand how to work with that energy. That's why their ships can go faster than the speed of light, as it's thought of on Earth, because they don't think in such limitations. These journeys are to help you imagine without limitations, because you're supposed to be able to do that. You're capable of doing it. It's just fear of some kind or other that gets in the way of that, because the reason for that is simple. The faculties here do not work, never will work, with anything of a negative nature in the lower worlds. It doesn't mix any up in here at all. They don't mix. So this is really the source of change for the individual and all life. The best way to do that is to take this above the void and plug into the energy that has no negative nature and never has. We bring some of that back with us to Earth. That's what we're doing. And it changes us. It helps us as beings. We're supposed to be running all these lower so-called higher bodies. Astral, causal, mental, and etheric, and the physical. Consciously aware of them. Beings are masterful people like gods in rags, running around running bodies on different dimensions in different matter, which is highly masterful and complex. But they don't know they're doing it. That's the problem. They're doing it, but they don't know they're doing it. So waking up mastery is waking up the past, bringing it into the present, and then taking it into the future. Which makes sense to every one of you. Really think about this as an Atma, because you're capable of knowing it. The human brain and one body and one personality of one life cannot comprehend such things. So we have to educate and train our personality on Earth to accept and begin to imagine out into the greater God, out into the multidimensional creation, and get this fixated knucklehead idea that God only favors Earth and it's just here and it's going to go to be saved and go to some heaven when we die, has been promulgated and perpetrated for millions of years out in the galaxy, and not just on Earth. That kind of thinking has already come to an end out in the galaxy. Earth is next. It's the last one to be brought up into a higher vibration. The energy of the hue can be stored in volume in H2O in water. Earth is 3/4 of that. Its systems do not glow. They should be if they were charged. So they're depleted. The highest concentration of the hue is around the equator of the planet. Go to Hawaii, you feel good in the water. There's a little bit more charge there, but not much. On normal worlds like Zetranami, the oceans glow a foot above the calm ocean waves. They don't have earthquakes or volcanoes or tidal waves or any of that stuff. Normal worlds don't. Earth is not normal. Not by any means. But it's all people growing up here have to compare it to. They don't have anything else to compare it to. I don't blame them or anyone for being unconscious here. I know what was done to them. It was done to me. So we're going into the hue. This is part of the journey. We're already on the journey. What is shared with you moves through you, through me, and through you to enlighten you or wake up this knowingness in you about these scientific and other things and how it really works out in the universe. In the physical, astral, causal, mental, etheric, void energy is pure hue. And then Satnam's realm, the Hue Expansionary Academy, all the way up the planes, the source itself. There are other realms beyond that ocean of sound and light. There's the realm of the silent mentors. It's a little bit higher vibration, actually. And then there's the realm of the Hue Expansion Ray itself, which was brought into creation to manage this new element running through the omnipresent living power itself. It's designed to help bring about or impart to others a gift, a certain wisdom, so that as they reacquire their abilities as an Atma, they're also gaining the wisdom to know how to use and work with the hue properly for one purpose, so that they do not ever become trapped again. One-way ticket. Not two ways. One way. I'll begin the hues now. Please do them with me silently in your own way. You are all Atmas just like me. Co-create with this for your own benefit. All that we're doing is connecting to the source energy itself that runs through space between planets and moons and suns and stars and galaxies. That is divine spirit, people call it. It does not refer to itself as divine. That's thinking like a king and a queen in suppressed cultures on Earth. It does not refer to itself this way. And the reason for that is because at the source there's no king or queen sitting on a throne there. That's not how the source works. Shantiel and Tonaltiel and Dantium and Lamtium are beings like us. They are human. They have bodies that look to be about 36. They're many, many hundreds of years old compared to an Earth person. Galactic Alliance personnel. And if you want to know, something like the Emerald Star Cruiser stationed in the ice rings of Saturn, by their requirement, has a master teacher or two aboard whenever they go in space. They're not stupid. So they always have an element of being able to objectively see things without reaction from a lower body self. Or they make many mistakes in judgment. Wars get started that way. So we have a presence of ships in our solar system patrolling it, doing two things. Protecting us from destroying ourselves, number one, because we are them. And two, seeing to it that no negative element or negative aliens, reptilians, greys, tall whites, many of whom were working or perverted, come back to the solar system. They've been removed. All of them. None are here on this planet. There's no Nazis with reptilians in Antarctica. You're not going to find them there. So this was done more than 25 years ago. This means there's no new gray abductions or few reptilians in bases underground and classified military complexes or anything like that. They were removed, but not by anybody on Earth. Because they didn't know how to do it. They got themselves trapped. And so that's now untrapped. The effect in people remains. And that effect didn't start in this lifetime. It started long ago in our journeys running bodies in the lower planes. Gradually, over a great period of time, we lost the ability to remember how to use some of these higher faculties. Because one thing we did or another, we put our own blocks up in front of ourselves so that we would not use that accidentally higher power that destroyed something or ruined a world. We've all done it. There is no payback. There's no guilt or shame that should be a part of our awakening. We don't owe any karma. That's an illusion, a maya. In the lower worlds, where there are positive and negative conflicting views, energies, and beings. So we pay off our karma thinking we're going to become perfect as Atmas someday by doing this. It doesn't work that way. We cannot fix something that's already precisely perfect. The Atma is. It has no negative nature. It never has. We don't. We've been browbeaten and beaten and killed and tortured in ways you can't even imagine in our past to compel us to forget and doubt that we have this mastery over all negative matter in the lower worlds of time and space, because we do. This has to be awakened in people. The couple, Shantiel and Tonaltiel, Dantiam and Lamtiam, are standing beside two of you. Other couples equally advanced are standing behind the others, including myself. They do this for one purpose. They leave their bodies, they put them in a chair, a egg-shaped blue cushion thing in the Emerald Star Cruiser, and then they leave their bodies and join us for this journey. Secondary implant removals, primary implant reviews are done by them. When they're out of their bodies as Atmas, it isn't a technical thing, because the actual placement of where these implants are not in a physical body and never were. They're in the energy field that surrounds the Atma, each Atma. That's where the implants are, through which we see subconsciously the universe distorted in fear. You know, a voice says, if you ever do this again, I'm going to rip off your arms and eat you again. That's a primary implant. It's done through the misuse of science. That's all. It was created on a human planet where they were conquered 500,000 years ago. And the scientists were made to pervert this, to implant people, to control them. It's outlawed. Doesn't mean some beings don't run around capturing someone as the cowards they are when they're out of a space lane by themselves where they're vulnerable. That's really how most people ended up on Earth. There's more to it than that. All the people that were on the planet Maldek when it blew up, guess where they came? They came to Earth. And the same subconscious compulsion to destroy themselves remains in people here. It did not come from this planet originally. So as you become aware of this, you become aware of your own history, suppressed as it's been. The reason they're hovering there, for instance, Virgil and Susan, Margaret and Lee and myself, you're actually an Atma hovering near the ceiling. It's a good place to start. It's no more difficult than how you imagine going to the store or to the gym or to buy groceries. You first see where you're going, and then your body follows, gets in a car, and it takes you there. But it's the Atma running the show. The imagination is not made up in your brain, and it isn't part of fantasy. Fantasy is the use of imagination to see into the universe for purely selfish reasons. It's not bad or good, it just doesn't help anyone else. A true imagination creatively creates things and works with others to produce new ways of doing things to help evolve the entire creation, which is our purpose. We're not meant to just fix Earth. We're meant to help fix the whole lower worlds of time and space, because they've been fixed and finished forever, and they're no longer that way. Silent mentors have control of every physical thing, planet, galaxy, and dimensional doorway in the lower worlds. They always have. But they have to have the motivation personally to change anything, or it just stays the way it is. So we're part of helping to make that change, which is why we go above the void. What we're doing is delivering our unique experience in billions of lives to the source. That's what's happening when we go into the source. And we add something to this change as individual beings, co-creators with it. This is our reason for existing. This is our purpose, to be Atmas. This couple is keeping your subconscious fears, not just implanted stuff, all of it. The whole subconscious mind field. The whole electromagnetic field around the Atma. That anything in it's being turned off for this journey, so that you don't take fear with you. When your body goes to sleep, as it is now, just like you put it to sleep every night without effort, the difference is you're hearing my voice, it's telepathic, it's coming from Satnam, Torelli, and all the others. And then it's moving through me, through you, for your benefit, and then through you onward for the benefit of others. We become boots on the ground that help to make this transformation occur within the negative atmosphere that surrounds Earth today. We become part of the solution and step away from being part of the problem. You're a spherical being, and there's a being hovering to each side of you up near the ceiling. This is not an astral body, but you have a human-looking form. It looks like you, but perfectly handsome, about 36. Perfect. It's a prototype that we've shown each other about who we are since the beginning. Satnam is the first primary example of this prototype, which is why he has a human-appearing form. So this goes back into our own history. This body form you're projecting in front of, from the white core of your being, the couple beside you are doing the same thing. They're wearing Galactic Alliance uniforms. Simple, single-piece, form-fitting blue-gray uniforms. Silken material. The shoes are built into the uniform. They have a Galactic Alliance symbol on their right chest. It is a silvery golden galaxy with a four-sided golden pyramid with a quartz top and 3 blue stars in triangular formation, cobalt blue. That's a very ancient symbol. That was first formed 500,000 years ago. The Galactic Alliance moved into the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds under the inspiration of Ambassador Trellian of the Say race, who are the most advanced human race, 12-stranded DNA. Immortalized all their race, immortalized their bodies over 1 billion years ago. They don't need physical bodies to push around, feed them, or go to the bathroom or any of that. So when we mix it up with these people, they're really showing us, as the hue moves through them and through us to Earth, they're showing us our potential. That's what they're doing. There's a white golden light coming down through the ceiling. It's pastel. It comes from Source itself. We made that connection with the first 5 hues. Believe me, I don't do this alone. I wouldn't even attempt it on my own, by myself. And it's flowing down through your sleeping body in the trance state. It doesn't matter if your ears hear a noise outside. That's just defensive purposes. It doesn't matter. The body's in the same state it's in on automatic when you put it to sleep at night. You have to understand this because this is kind of done for you in a way. But you're also co-creating it. The Galactic Alliance couple have no vested interest in peering into your mind or invading your privacy or any of that nonsense. They're keeping subconscious negative stuff turned off. They can do that. They won't get rid of it for you because they know it needs to be your experience. That's how you regain who you are. The energy moves through you for your benefit and continues on into Earth's atmosphere, through the walls of your home. And it's not reversible. It is one way only. When you cross paths with the hue, or it crosses paths with you, in this way, it's permanent. It's not reversible. That's part of the hue expansion ray, the wisdom that's in it, and what it does. It's designed to retire evil as an experiment of good and evil within the being's consciousness, replacing it with the wisdom of the hue expansion ray from Source, where we come from. You might say the Source is matured in a way that it never was before. Whatever was brought back there and tested by Satnam has been implemented for the first time. Because in the beginning, we were meant to make the lower planes of creation mirrors of the upper worlds. We failed completely in this regard. All of us did. The creation of devils and demons and all that came from us. We are responsible for everything that's on this planet and other worlds, collectively as a group of beings. We're not meant to be guilty about it. We're meant to understand it and accept our responsibility in it. Because until we do that, we are not going to change or evolve at all. We are meant to be trustworthy, conscious co-creators with Source and remember our purpose and why it is. And that is originally to make the lower worlds mirrors of the upper planes. When you retire the old failed experiment of good and evil, positive and negative, opposing forces in the consciousness and the imagination, this becomes whole. And then we can do and start to fulfill what we started out to do before the lower worlds of time and space were even built. That's how old you are. Can't compare your age in terms of human lives, even million-year-old lives on other worlds, because we're vastly older than that. We are not from and do not exist in time and space. We are in the hue itself that surrounds all of that. And it's not nuclear. It's not atomic. It does not observe the laws of physics for matter. It supports it. The sound of the hue coming through your roof, through you to your body, sounds like a deep humming rumbling, gentle but kind of like thunder, but smooth. No lightning. It's the sound, universal sound the hue makes for the physical universe. And it's on different pitch levels of that in 144 parallel dimensions in the physical universe before we even get to the astral plane. It's just big. It's just a massively big creation. We are capable of understanding this. If this were not true, I could not be speaking it to you, because you won't hear it anywhere else on this planet yet. It's not my wisdom. I don't own the omnipresent power. I'm a drop in it, like you, fulfilling a certain commission, agenda, or purpose. That, of course, I didn't know. It was taken from me when I was stuffed into a body here on Earth when I was killed. I wasn't from here. None of you were. There's no human being that ever evolved on Earth in the first place. It didn't have human life evolve out of the sea, out of monkeys or something. It was all brought here. The Sayris were responsible for elevating genetics across galaxies between the astral and physical worlds a long time ago, and bringing these reptilians and greys and mantis and bird-like people and human and humanoid and all kinds of races up to spacefaring capability, interrelating with each other peacefully. That's when the Sayris bowed out and disappeared from this galaxy to see what we would do with it. We all know what we did with it. Not a pretty sight. There's a flash of whiter light coming down through the roof, and we find ourselves in space, looking at Earth in the distance. Very simple. We are spherical beings hovering above body forms we show each other that look flawless. If you're a woman, perfectly beautiful. If you're a man, perfectly handsome. These are not made of molecules. These are not atomic bodies. They're prototypes of how we show ourselves to each other. They are not astral bodies. This is not psychic. This is coming from beyond the lower worlds. We're in a circle of 5 beings around Terrellian, standing 18 feet tall, because he chooses to show us the form he had once, long ago, over 1 billion years ago, when he had a physical body. A white gown above his bare feet, looks like a Greek god. Big blue eyes, slightly bigger than Earth human, slightly pointed ears like an elf. Beautiful, long, blonde, slightly wavy hair to his shoulders. He's got his fist closed with his thumbs up, and there's a brighter white golden light around each one, about 1 foot thick. It's coming from the higher realities. And he produces around all of us a kind of an oval, transparent energy shield, like the hull of a spaceship. And this is done to keep us focused on the journey together, to get the most bang for the buck, to get the benefit out of it, brought back to Earth. There are other beings, one each standing beside each one of you, male and female, from the Galactic Alliance. They're very kind, a little taller than all of you, but they're not here to do anything but keep fear turned off for the journey. So you can bring something back to Earth where the fear is that can change you and the world around you. We need to get that from above the void if we want to make this effective. Bringing astral energy here composed of positive and negative opposing forces in the consciousness of people, will not help this planet. Because your body forms there are just as unconscious of each other as you are here. That has to change. Part of this journey, as all of them are now, on our return, even if I don't speak it, we stop off at the etheric, mental, causal, astral planes, get Satnam and Lemriel kicking the ass of your so-called higher selves, to get them aware of each other and working for your benefit on Earth. Because in most cases, they aren't helping anybody above or below them. They're selfish. Fear keeps them that way. Even fear in the etheric plane keeps people from leaping over the void to go back home. This is changing. There are 24 master teachers in between each of us, in between this couple. Ramu is toward the earth. Maroon-collared robe, short-cropped, curly, black hair and beard, coal black eyes, coal black, dark brown skin, holding a staff, looks like a quartz crystal, inch thick, with an Ankh symbol on top. It's a device. He's the master guardian keeper of that device. That was a gift to him and several other master teachers from Satnam, a long time ago. Now it's designed to work together with 2 other crystalline structures. When a student is ready, they are taken to the source to become master teachers in their own right. That is laid out in the Emerald Doorway book for people on Earth for what it's worth. Opposite him on the other side of the circle of beings is Master Opellum. Pale blue skin, emerald green eyes, jet black hair to his shoulders, Galactic Alliance uniform on, because he helped sponsor it. He's showing you a body form looks to be about 40, 6 feet tall, slightly pointed ears. He's got little webs between his fingers, gill slits high up under his neck. You wouldn't notice any left at his neck, then you'd see it. And he can breathe underwater or on land, as can all human oceanans. The genetic composition of the DNA between an oceanid human and an Earth are so close that you could mate with them. Goes back to the Sayres. Because all these beings, even Etta and Din, who are Drens from Oceania, not carbon-based, silica-based, are master teachers. Master Light Sea is considerably higher up in space above Lemriel. Below them is Etta and Din. These 2 beings I met over 100,000 years ago as a Galactic Alliance personnel coming to our solar system back then, before the poles flipped the last time. So my origins were never from Earth. And neither was any of yours originally from Earth. Up above Lightsea is Satnam. Why he's decided to grace us with his presence here in the lower worlds this way, I have no idea, except it has something to do with co-creating with him, and him co-creating with others, etc. And so he's standing below an hourglass-shaped golden white whirling vortex, whirling slowly clockwise. It is an interdimensional portal. It's designed to link the top of space by Earth through the void and all the way up to Source itself. Now we're going to be doing something to add our co-creative energy into this portal before we go on this journey further. It's our best interest to do this. So when you put your voice into it, you're helping to strengthen and brighten this conduit. Satnam puts it in place instantly without our help. But we're required to co-create with it to go on the journey, because now you can do this because your body is asleep. Your ego is not part of the journey. It can't go on it. The sound coming down through the white golden light, passing through this conduit. If you look up through that vortex, you can see a brilliant, but what I call pale blue, cobalt blue luminous light. And that is the energy of the void itself, pure hue. The barrier created between the upper and lower worlds to keep things in place and to prevent egos and other negative things from going back through that doorway. All the negative stuff ever done by people and to animals and to plants and the ecology on Earth remain recorded within the H2O, within the water vapor of Earth, within its atmosphere. It does not leave. We're responsible for what is going on, partially. We didn't create evil. It's really not even exist. It's not real. It is the misuse of the imagination to split it into opposing forces. That's always done because of some fear. It's not natural or normal. And we are not meant to have subconscious minds at all. Subconscious means something can be put there you're not aware of, right? So we're not meant to have them. Tyrellian's fists, as you know, there's a sound, there's an energy coming through from Satnam to Lightsea, who has a body in the etheric plane and works in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy in this big pyramid where the Tree of Life is. He does that. He was the first master teacher to volunteer to work there when it was brought into creation. He doesn't have a body in the mental or causal or astral or physical. Satnam doesn't have any lower bodies. Tyrellian doesn't either, by the way. And he's the center of the focus of our journey. Precisely because of that reason. The energy brightens around his hands. We know it's coming from source, right through Satnam. And it brightens the transparent oval hull of a spaceship kind of light around us. And Tyrellian points out between the Earth and the Moon. We find ourselves suddenly hovering above the ice rings of the planet Saturn. We know that in that mile-long ship, there is a chamber in the midsection, the upper half, that has a dodecahedron chamber in a spherical 50 by 50, 100-foot in diameter oval room with a white leather chair inside the dodecahedron. This is where primary implant reviews take place. This is where the personnel standing by each of you come from. And we're going to go up that vortex, which is moved with us above Saturn, obviously. We're going to go up the vortex following Satnam. You're going to notice that to each side of Satnam now appear two couples. These are silent mentors, the most advanced beings in creation, as individuals. They have different colored, single, kind of a satin-colored kind of gown on. Long hair, different colors, different colored skins. Male, female, male, female. And facial features are all white light. You don't see any facial features. Because when you look into their faces, you see levels upon levels upon levels of galaxies and dimensions. That's how they think. Above them is hovering an Atma, 4 times bigger than us, twice as many teardrop-shaped layers in it. So in a sense, for whatever reason, they're hanging out with Satnam and going on this journey with us. We're not going to associate with them here. We have to go above the void to do that. Now we're going to send out, as we approach the bottom of this vortex in space above the ice rings of the planet Saturn, you're going to see Satnam begin to recede up inside that opening till he's just like a little pinpoint, a huge hourglass-shaped whirling vortex. It's surrounded by a blue-green watery luminosity like water, but it's not water. And it's created to bypass all the lower planes of creation. There's nothing in the lower worlds that can penetrate this vortex or affect us in any way. Nothing. The energy of that vortex is not nuclear in origin. It is made of the energy that supports all that. It is the boss. It is the master over such things. We're going to begin to send out the hue now and match my tones And you're going to watch this vortex brighten, and then we're going up inside it. In this oval, golden, transparent sphere of light that Tyrellian's creating in the center of us. We're not going up that vortex just yet. We just paved the way. This vortex is going with us. Tyrellian waves his hand out into the stars of our galaxy. And instantly, as a group, we are beamed to a location above the Milky Way galaxy, in the omnipresent hue itself, which is all there is out here. So everything around us is a white golden light. We're looking down at a planet that's lit up, not in, but near to the galactic core, out in the two-thirds of the way out around the bulge area. And suddenly we find ourselves hovering above that planet. This is planet Zetronomy 1, the central governing world of the entire galactic interdimensional alliance of free worlds, which currently runs a little less than half of the worlds in the galaxy. The Xantarnamus race, on the other side of the galaxy, who are very advanced masterful beings, with bodies 3.5 million years old, unaged, run the other part, and they work together now. There's no conflict out in space, no wars, no reptilians bombing anybody, no Greys abducting anyone. That's permanently and forever ended. This world is 4 times bigger than Earth. It has golden luminous oceans and golden luminous beaches. Several continents near the equator, no polar ice caps. And the 3 moons at different distances orbiting this one planet are the size of Earth, no polar ice caps. There are domed cities, not congested like metropolises in the United States or on Earth. And out in the distance, we can see 3 suns, because this is a trinary sun system. These planets orbit, as most of them are, in our galaxy. This is known even on Earth among scientists now. Most of the suns are binary, meaning 2 suns, one smaller one circling a big one, or trinary, or quadrinary. The nearest star to us is a binary star system. Earth is a single sun. This is not the usual case out in our galaxy. This is also the reason that they don't have polar ice caps, or weather problems, or earthquakes, or tidal waves. Oceans here are calm, because they're charged and luminous with the hue. normal. Just normal. This is hard for people to understand on Earth because they don't understand normal at all. Earth's oceans are depleted. They don't glow. They should. They don't. Not yet. Understand that the principle of H2O and what it does are both gases when combined make a liquid. As gases, they're part of the hue. When they're combined, they take a form which can store around each atom huge volumes of this thing we call the hue. The mystery of water is being unraveled on this planet. Part of it through Professor Gerald Pollack of Washington State University, who has now proven that it's multidimensional states of water. It's a telepathic medium. I've met this man. I know him. He knows me. We don't associate. We had to do a conference in Finland once together, and a scientist like Einstein is a quantum physicist with 80 books published, lives in Italy. We met. So this planet you're hovering above has a bluish pink atmosphere. When you move, as we're doing now, around Turelian, through the atmosphere of this planet, the water vapor is glowing. We're passing right down and hovering above a big, elongated, circular, white, sparkling with little golden flecks dome. There are pyramidal, narrow pyramidal buildings, crystalline type buildings, botanical paradise around each of them. Not designed like anything on Earth. I turned your sound off, Virgil, don't worry about it, to get a better recording quality, so background noises don't come into it. You can always turn them on if you wish. So, as a group of beings, as Atmas, running these body forms we show each other that look human but are not, we move down inside this dome until we're all hovering in a circle of beings around Turelian. So a white shaft of golden light coming down into the top of this dome through him. It's coming from Satnam. It's coming from that vortex, which is above this planet, near the galactic core. Not in it, near it. Nearer to it. There are 5,000 people in white robes with golden sashes from the right shoulder to the lower hip that are the Galactic Alliance Council. They come from many world systems, human, humanoid, some bipedal, non-human. The thing is, all of them have Sayre's DNA in their structure. All of them. Every one. Including reptilians and greys. You'll see a reptilian or two here, male and female, and a couple of greys too, tall ones. These are not, never were part of the diabolical ones that were controlled and manipulated to screw around with Earth people. So understand this, they're not all bad. Those that are have been prevented from coming back to the solar system. So stay with me on this. It's important you stay focused. You're going to see these 5,000 members. Their bodies are simply going to sit down in these white leather-like chairs, close their eyes. The Atma hovering above it is now surrounding us on concentric levels. All fit into this nice, oval, golden white shell that Turelian's creating. And we're suddenly projected above this planet and up into that vortex following Satnam and the two couples of silent mentors receding into the distance. And we're shot up at tremendous speed. When we come out the other end, we are in what's called the void, moving ever upward and deepward in it. It is a cobalt blue, light, pale, brilliant, but it's the only way I can describe it. It is the pure hue. There is no structures here. So people on Earth think it's a void, the realm of the Supreme Being. It is not. It is pure hue, but it's a barrier between the upper and lower realities. And we're moving right up through it very quickly on this Tyrellian spaceship. I'm standing in the circle with you and a couple from the Galactic Alliance. I'm also standing next to Tyrellian, two places at once. The silent mentors are hovering above him to each side. And we see a white beach begin to appear in the distance until we suddenly approach it and stop to hover above it. It is diamond-like. It is radiant with light, brighter than anything in the void or below it. And it goes as far as you can see left and right and curves. So it implies that it's some kind of massive circular landmass that this beach surrounds. The trees in the jungle are transparent. Every kind of tree you can think of. There's energy moving up and down the trunks. We're moving over the tops of these trees, surrounded by escorting birds about a foot long. Look like blue jays, long split V-tails, rainbow-colored feathers blended perfectly, big blue eyes, twin sets of bird wings. These are not birds as in the lower worlds, and there is an atma the size of a silent mentor hovering above each one. And they begin to sing the hue with male and female voice and vocal cords in perfect harmony. And they're actually communicating to you that they are maintaining the void. These beings are maintaining the void and supporting it. And we head over out into the countryside. And we see this long diagonal blue stone snow-capped mountain range. There's Satnam's fountain, white alabaster, with a clearing, botanical paradise in concentric circles. His palatial estate next to the base of this mountain range. But we're not going there. We're going over the top of these mountains as a group until we come and see, way up high, we see this huge floating circular landmass. It's like the U Expansionary Academy, but this is smaller. And it's infinitely vast what goes on in Atma. This is Satnam's realm. And we see that it has this numbers of these different colored luminous beaches, curved and connected in a thin line. Covers the rainbow of light, and we're going to the northern point, which is a golden luminous beach. The surrounding cobalt blue atmosphere looks like water, but it is behind it is the hue, with little white golden flecks in it. This is maintained in part by Satnam and silent mentors. Always has been. And we find ourselves suddenly in a group landing on this luminous beach. On the northern point. We haven't done this before. We've seen it before, these different oceans, but we're now on this luminous golden sandy beach. If you picked one of them up, they'd be like transparent gold, luminous and glowing. Not emeralds or rubies or diamonds, gold. It's golden light. And we suddenly see manifest around us a pyramidal, transparent, luminous blue-sided pyramid. It has a luminous blue foot-thick floor. And we're all in a circle around Tyrellian, all of us inside this pyramid on this beach. And it's like an elevator. There's a cylindrical shaft of light coming down around the outer edges. And then it lifts us straight up and shoots us up this elevator from this point in Satnam's realm until we come out of another beach. And this beach is on the northern point of the Hue Expansionary Academy. Then this elevator, this pyramidal shape disappears. And all of us, 5,000 members of the Galactic Alliance Council, the Master Teachers, the Galactic Alliance couples, all of us, are hanging out down this beach. And one of these little golden sandy particles lifts itself up off the beach. This is under Satnam's direction, by the way. You'll see him just move his hand. And then it enters the white core of our being. Each one of us, all of us. And it makes that center bright with a little tinge of gold. And it goes out and turns on certain of these dormant teardrop-shaped faculties that aren't broken or busted or damaged. No implants, they're just not been used for ages. We find ourselves suddenly back inside this transparent blue glass-like pyramid, moving up another shaft of light, and we come out into a fiery realm. The fiery realm is Agam Purusha's realm. It's green and gold and yellow and orange, moving and twirling and all around. It's the raw, pure energy of the hue that one being regulates, named Agam Purusha. And he's bigger than a silent mentor. He's just a big, massive sphere of light. When I first met this being, I asked to be his friend because I figured this guy's pretty lonely. Not that they get lonely like we do, but I became his friend at that point. And he's there waiting for us, hovering in this light. There's no pyramid around us. It's just all of us around Turelian. This golden, transparent light is still around us to keep us focused. We're safe in this fiery realm. It's not going to harm us. We're Atmas. In the background is the tree of life. That tree of life is massive. Looks like a giant silver golden fir tree. Massive branches disappearing into this light. The top of the tree disappearing beyond the range of sight. The trunk is transparent. There's a white golden light moving up and down it. We have permission from Agam Purusha to enter it because it is an interdimensional doorway. And every single needle on every branch represents some place in creation in the upper and lower worlds. That's why it's called the Tree of Life. It's a way that beings regulate these locations. Silent mentors work with this Tree of Life. They hold it in place. We're suddenly inside this shaft of light and we're shot upward. The next place we see is the ocean of sound and light. Source, prime creator, the ancient one, whatever you want to call it. And this is much brighter cobalt blue light. And there's no suns or stars or planets or moons or stars here. Because everything in and above the void produces its own light. They're not necessary. Nothing sleeps here. They don't have bodies to push around to grow old or be born or feed or take to the bathroom or any of that. And neither do the beings we're with. Galactic Council that is with us have much more advanced human type of bodies than we have on Earth. Many of them are thousands of years old. Tens of thousands. Those bodies are not permanent. They run them of free will, like you used to. In the distance, we see a single galaxy, brilliant, golden silver galaxy, turning on its axis. And you can see that in the center, hollowed out interior, is a white circular island floating in the center of it. And we're moved as a group of beings, all these many beings. And as we pass between the outer, what we thought were stars circling the center of this galaxy, they're individual beings. There's great space between them. And we're shot all the way through the layers of this. And we come out into a hollowed out interior in the central third of this galactic manifestation. And in the center is this huge sphere. Looks like an Atma, like us. We look like it. But it's massive. There's thousands of teardrop-shaped layers in it, not just like a silent mentor. And it is a nexus where all Atmas in all creation that come from the source are linked together. They're linked together. Always have been. And then we're shot right over this island, in between individual teardrops, which now seem vast as all of us pass between them. The first thing you notice as you move into the white core of the center of this manifestation is that you are one of the beings circling this center. And you've never left. You can run all the bodies and be unconscious as hell itself in the lower worlds, but you're still here. We're multi-dimensional, capable, spherical, non-nuclear beings. The sound here is beyond human description, but it's like the most beautiful. You can't describe it in human terms, but it's like orchestras, but it's more than that. You can hear millions of men and women's voices with perfect vocal cords singing the hue on multi-dimensional levels and harmonies you can't even do on Earth. And then we're suddenly floating in the middle of this, all of us. And you hear a voice, a deep baritone voice. It's a manifestation like a being, but it isn't an individual. And a feminine, angelic, crystalline quality surrounding it. It's hard to describe. These are not positive and negative forces. These are pure hue energies. And this voice says, welcome home. Always does. Every time. And then something exchanges between that white energy and the white core in our beings because we're identical to it. And it changes us. This is a gift we're bringing back with us from this journey, back to our lives on Earth. In the next instant, there's a flash of light because this source being will say, it's not individual. It cannot remain here long. It's too far removed from physical matter, especially that on Earth, and your physical body would perish if you stayed here very long. We could stay in Satnam's realm a lot longer, but not here. Remember, your original nature is still here. This is part of what we call God realization. It's not a concept for you to ponder and rattle around in your brain. It's a direct experience. And we suddenly find ourselves hovering in a group of beings, all of us, above the planet Earth. This is not the planet Earth that you see and know regularly in your experience. And then we're back in the void, just like that. And now we're suddenly in the etheric energy field, below the void. You can see there's more than 80,000 continents here on a massive world, and they're oval-shaped. Now we're sitting looking at the central, a larger oval island on this planetary sphere. And you can see all of us together hovering around Trillian, and then you see all of us with an etheric body standing in circles around us. This is you in the etheric. It is transparent. It's luminous. The eyes are luminous. It's not a molecular body like Earth, but it still has some negative flow within it. Just enough to keep you from working with those below you, for instance. Or leaping beyond the void and going home, which is what we should have been doing for the last 200 billion years. You can see Satnam and Trillian appear instantly beside all of these bodies. 5,000 Galactic Alliance Council members, Galactic Alliance representatives by you, and all the master teachers, 24 that came with us. They're all here. And all that Satnam and Trillian are doing is getting them aware of what's beyond the void from our journey. We're giving that to them. And then it's making the body below, the mental body, look up and be aware of it. And we suddenly find ourselves as a group in the mental plane, on other islands that are not transparent, but very high, bright energy. And these are floating in a kind of a blue, luminous light everywhere. And we're on this big central island. You could call it a world, if you will, but it's island-shaped. And the same of all your mental body forms, which for all of you are scientists here. In fact, all of you are from the Xantronamus race. They're long silver hair to their shoulders, violet eyes, tall, 10-foot, longer fingers, longer torsos, beautifully dressed. And you're all here, surrounding all of us around Trillian. And Satnam and Trillian are standing beside each one of them. All of us. Getting them to look up to the etheric body and getting them to look down to the causal. And then we're suddenly in the causal plane. In the causal plane, there are other islands, more tropical, And this is a place where the understanding of the wisdom of cause and effect is used properly, or it should be. But it's not always used properly in all the parallel dimensions of the causal plane. There are wars here in this higher heaven below the void. And you are standing on an island by a mansion or a different estate. Some are domed, some are crystalline. And you're standing on a beach simply looking at the group of us. And Satnam and Trillian are standing beside those bodies. Getting them to look up to the mental body, getting them to look down to your emotional area, into the astral plane. And we suddenly find ourselves in the astral plane, tropical islands everywhere. It's a particular parallel dimension among 144. It's one where everything manifests successfully. It's one where you can fly in your astral body through the air. It's where people get their dreams of flying from. It's from the life they're living here. And the same thing is happening. They see all of us in a circle around Trillian, and Satnam and Trillian stand beside them and kick their ass to look up the causal plane and look down to the physical. And then we suddenly find ourselves hovering above a Himalayan type mountain range on Earth. We've come back here. And space around Trillian, but this isn't the Earth you're used to seeing. It's in the third higher parallel dimension. There's a huge continent centered over the equator from the left to the right hemisphere. No polar ice caps. Another continent 2/3 its size on the other side, centered over the equator. That's Lemriel, that's Atla on the other side. This is a world of Earth that Lemriel never sank. It never changed its poles. And down at the bottom, near about 1/3 away from the southern pole, is an upward curved, half-moon base-shaped emerald green beach glowing. We can see it from space. This Himalayan type mountain is in the center of this huge continent. There is a city, kind of a city, in the center of this mountain range. You could call it Shambala, Shangri-la, Agam Purusha, whatever you want. But it is not in the physical universe of Earth where the Himalayas are. It's in a higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. So we're bringing this back to our physical universe through this higher realm where no negative nature exists. It's a protected realm, planet. We find ourselves wiggling our toes on the emerald green beach suddenly with the luminous jungle behind us, and Trillian standing up to his knees in this blue-green, luminous, calm ocean water with his 2 thumbs up with the gold light around him, giving us a quirky little grin. The emerald green beach, there's 2 couples standing on that beach, and we're all scattered down the whole beach. But everyone can see close up this couple. They are the Xantronamos couple, Donatalis and Freshun Muntus, from a planet on the other side of our galaxy in the parallel dimension where Earth is you're used to. And they have these immortalized bodies they're showing you. They brought them here. The woman is holding up her hands. Silver hair to the shoulders, violet eyes, and ivory-colored human skin, like elegant. They move like swans. Big atmosphere hovering above them. And there's a green emerald light around her hands, like Trillian does to create the shell of a whole spaceship around us. And it's charging that beach. It is a gift because one of these little polished emerald glowing crystals lifts itself, she's doing this, off the sand and enters the core of our being, including Trillian. It goes up into the white core of our being, brightens it, and then goes out to the green area. And this has to do with turning on the ability, once fears dropped and more fears dropped, to remember the lives you've lived in the lower planes of time and space, like your astral, causal, mental, etheric, and all the lives in all those planes for billions of years. The ones that matter, from which you derive wisdom. The negative ones are discarded. In the end, they're erased. We have no need to bring those negative experiences with us into a greater evolution of being. The silent mentor couples are standing on this beach. It's the first time I've ever seen them here. It's just to let us know that we rub shoulders with them in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. They were with us. So that means that whatever energy is moving through us is changing us. And they're involved. Between master teachers on one side, silent mentors on the other. And we're in the middle. Becoming something new, something different, something more than has existed before. Kind of a little bit of a blend of a silent mentor and its perfectly unlimited freedom, and that of a master teacher that has love and compassion or cares for individual atmas, so to speak. And then we're suddenly moving over the top of a single white snow-capped mountain range inland several miles. 2/3 of the way up towards that mountain is a waterfall, green, blue water pouring out of a cavern opening, dropping thousands of feet down a cliff face, disappearing between these blue forest trees, touch of green in them, and a single dome covering 3 4-sided gold pyramids with quartz caps that surround an elongated ivory dome building. Oval blue-green lake, semicircular mountain range in the background with little waterfalls coming out of caverns. This is for the aesthetic pleasure of the people that live in the dome. Silent mentors come here, Say-Rays come here, Galactic Alliance people work here. The master teachers work here. And then we're suddenly moved inland from the beach, clear into the interior, and we're hovering above a specific group of snow-covered glacial-type Himalayan mountains. And there's a hollowed-out center in it, and it's tropical in there. And there's a mountain with a cliff, with a circular cliff landing area for scout ships, which come here, and a cavern opening, oval. And we find ourselves all hovering around Trellia on this ledge. And we suddenly find ourselves going through this cavern opening. And now we're all of us, 5,000 council members and us, sitting surrounded by, I can't count the number, dozens of monks with maroon robes with bald heads. They all look to be about 40. Of course, they're ageless. Beautiful atmosphere hovering above them. And there's a central monk sitting in the middle, and we're surrounding this. And they're beginning to chant, not Gregorian chants or chants from Buddhism. They're beginning to hum and sing the hue on multiple levels through their voice, multiple levels. Now this is conditioning us as atmas to prepare us to withstand the negativity that is compacted in Earth's atmosphere in all the people who are perpetuating or trying to perpetuate their own Armageddon because they think it'll set them free. It won't. It's happened on Earth before. It didn't set anybody free. Blew them up on Maldek. That didn't set anybody free. So we're sitting in a meditative state, all of us cross-legged, in the form that is pure, the atmosphere hovering above you, and there's a white golden light coming down through this monk, and it's just going through us out into this environment. And then you see it coming down into your building where you live on Earth. The next thing you know, you're hovering above your body with this Galactic Alliance couple beside you, still keeping off any subconscious fear. And it's moving down through your body and out through the walls of your home. It's passing through you for your benefit, but it's continuing for the benefit of others. That makes us co-creators on the ground, boots on the ground, to bring about this new ray, this Hue Expansion Ray, that's designed to retire evil and experiment on Earth. The Mayan calendar, it started a new Mayan calendar when the other one ended. And the Mayan leaders themselves, simple people, but they never said there was an Armageddon or an end of the world. That was made up by ministers who went there as archaeologists to try to fit it into their belief system. It doesn't fit. So what they say is coming, which ended at 2012 and continues into the infinite future, is the retirement of evil as an experiment on Earth, because that's where they live. So this moves through us for our benefit. but it continues through Earth to 3 pyramids on Earth, stationed 2 at the bottom of Earth's oceans, 1 in the hollowed out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas on Earth, which is on Earth. There's a statue of Satnam in them. This is a device. It's an interdimensional doorway, a portal. And this hue is projected from those pyramids through Earth's atmosphere. They are turned on. It doesn't mean it simply miraculously turns everybody awake on Earth. That's not what it's for. It's preparation. Begins to charge the water in Earth's atmosphere. And it goes to a bigger pyramid stationed between 2 stable asteroids between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet around the sun today. Classified people know that pyramid's there. In your research, you'll find this talked about. But it isn't the physical pyramid you can touch and manipulate, throw weapons at. Nothing in the physical universe can affect it. It's not made of physical matter. Neither are the pyramids on Earth. And they are turned on and working. These have been appearing between individual stars in our galaxy, and it connects right to the galactic core of the galaxy, which is a white golden shaft of light. It's not a black hole that human eyes just can't see it. Scientists on Earth know this energy out in space, this hue, is toroidal, or it's zero-point energy, energy of the universe. It does not work according to the laws of physics. It doesn't have to. Physical craft will work according to the laws of physics, but they supersede that if they work with the energy that surrounds everything in space, which is how they get around far beyond any limits of the speed of light, because that was all made up on Earth. It was stupidly done. Trap people to thinking, oh, people can't get here from other worlds, it's too far away. That's Earth plane thinking. They get their heads up their ass. Pardon my language, but it's true. They don't know. If they'd measured light from out in space, it would have been different. So satellites have done that, which is one of the reasons now they know the Big Bang Theory is gone, because it no longer supports how the universe was brought into creation. That's already over. So you're back here, and that energy that's moving through us, through Earth, goes right back through the center of the galaxy and right back to source where we just came from. So when we're back, you can open your eyes. We're fine. We're back here. We brought this energy with us. This is how this works. We have to go get it and bring it here. Now, I will bring this recording to a close.